Chapter 11 Time, Space and Gravity. It had been 253 years since Sir Isaac Newton had first published his unification of gravity on Earth with known astronomical behavior on July 5, 1687 in his Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica. As well as Newton's three laws of motion, the Principia contained Newton's first published works on the laws of universal gravitation and calculus. These works stood unchallenged as scientific pillars until the early 20th century, when in 1915 Dr. Albert Einstein had published his paper, The Theory of General Relativity, in which he determined that massive objects caused a distortion in spacetime. This effect is felt on Earth as gravity. Dr. Marlberg had read all these works as a student, learnt the lessons they contained, and stood on the shoulders of the giants that had come before him. The more he read, the more he dreamt of being able to control these natural laws, and his most vivid days concerned the ability to control gravity. As his fellow German scientists worked on chemically fueled rocket engines under the tyranny of the rocket equation, Dr. Marlberg dreamt of anti-gravity. The rocket equation is most often credited to Russian scientist Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, who described in his 1903 publication a straightforward calculus exercise that could be applied to the question of whether rockets could achieve speeds necessary for space travel. However, he wasn't the first, or the only person to describe it. The equation had first been derived by British mathematician William Moore in 1810, and once again by the minister William Leach in 1861. In 1912, the American Robert Goddard independently developed the equation when he began his research to improve rocket engines for possible space flight. Finally, Hermann Oberth in Europe independently derived the equation around 1920, as he too studied the feasibility of space travel. Where chemically fueled rockets were limited by the need to carry both the fuel and oxidizer, resulting in the ever-increasing problem whereby the more payload required to be lifted, the more fuel was required to lift it, which in turn became payload and in turn required yet more fuel. Anti-gravity devices would be limited by the immense power levels used to generate the field strengths required for the inversion of one of the universe's most fundamental forces. Dr. Marlberg had created Die Glocke, the bell, as his experiment into anti-gravity, but so far there had been no means of powering it. He believed that by controlling the effects of gravity, unbelievable speeds and accelerations could be achieved. Constructed of heavy metals and protected where necessary by ceramic tiles, the bell consisted of three basic parts: the structure and two counter-rotating rings. Once powered up, the counter-rotating rings would create a magnetic field which, as power levels increased, would generate the fields that Dr. Marlberg hoped would interact with the local gravitational field, causing Die Glocke to at first hover. After first resisting the force of gravity, he hoped to be able to generate a force in a given direction and hence acceleration. If he was correct, any location on Earth would be accessible in minutes. Troops, weapons, assassins could be placed wherever they were needed at almost a moment's notice. Die Glocke would be capable of such speed that it would seem to appear and disappear at will. No enemy on Earth could answer the potency of Die Glocke. They would quake in their shoes, wondering where exactly next it would appear. After 5 days, the enrichment process was still on course. Heinrich had taken Die Glocke out of mothballs. The power lines were checked and double-checked. Dr. Marlberg smiled to himself as he saw his dream unfurl in his mind. The jet and rocket engines the Nazi scientists had convinced the Führer were the wonder weapons he wished for, were nothing but trinkets compared to Die Glocke. In just 5 days, Die Glocke would have the power it needed to come to life.